yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Fuck you. As I'm taking the bowl, I can literally feel the trees going into the window, bro. Forgetting that he was even alive, the whole room turns into a jungle. Sounds fucking great to me. So this man starts dancing. This is when the trip went south for me. Holding my brain like, I'm sorry, mom. Like, I'm dying. And I told him, I was like, you told me that we have superpowers, right? This is the superpower. I was watching their lives happen. Like, it's kind of corresponding to a fucking another degree, bro. You know, poop in front of my friend's door open, I don't care. He killed me. And it's literally my mom right there. I'm like, Mom, I love you. And so I'm about to cry because I'm thinking about this situation. My dad literally looked at me like, so should I take them? And I was like, I don't know. Hey guys, it's Mavin Kakkar, and welcome back to the Gentle Giant Podcast. This is episode 3, and thank you guys for tuning in. I'm hoping you're having a blessed day. As you can tell, I'm very excited about this episode. It's definitely one of those episodes I was having so much fun scripting out and thinking about how I'm going to tell you guys what was going on and how this even transpired. This episode is about the shroom trip that changed everything. Okay. So last episode we talked about my seizures and how they made me feel in the moment. And a lot of that episode was talking about very briefly the beginning of my life and how those seizures affected me early on. And then I kind of got more glimpsy and more jumpy around the middle of my life, and especially later on now, right? That's because there's this experience that happened in between that kind of like rerouted everything. And realistically, it's not something I was too like, hey, let me tell people about this. And there's people on YouTube who do talk about this. Like, I took an heroic dose and this, all this, and this. And I always thought like, that's not how I want to come out. That's where my music is and stuff like that. But now where I'm at and what I'm teaching people and where I'm at, like with my businesses or whatever, I think it's very vital to the story of who I am. So we're going to go a little bit in between of the stories of where I was at. This is after the first acid trip. Okay. I come back from home. I have over the top, profound, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Ego highs to the max. Like, I'm spending mad money, taking a lot of paraphernalia, bad stuff in my life, and I was hanging out with cool people doing mad music. And I had a best friend at the time. His name is TB. Leave it at that. TB and me, we're best friends always, bro. Like, that's one of those 4 core best friends I talked about last episode with the seizures. And me and him in mad music together, whatever it is. And I will contribute a lot of my spirituality to him. He is the person who put me on to lots of, I would say, new age thinking, to say the least, or whatever it may be. Even if he didn't mean to put me on to new age thinking from where his intention was, it's where I ended up to. Especially exploring crystals and astrology and like what was around me. And I was always around girls, so girls always like that stuff. So I was like, oh, let me check this out. So it led me to a lot of new age kind of thinking and stuff like that, and reading some different texts. If you know anything about the Lost Earth Chronicles, that's kind of what our wow moment was like Frankie, whatever, his name is Frankie or TB. He constantly was telling me about certain things about these teachings of the way of life and how to live more spiritually and clean. And he was going vegan at the time, and I really respected the way he was changing his life around. Like, I could physically and emotionally see him change to be better at the time. So I'm like, okay, let me start seeing what he's seeing, reading what he's reading. I'm like, okay, this stuff makes sense. Like, I'm finding a lot of patterns and resonance, especially with my religious beliefs. Like, he's finding connections with Christianity. I'm finding connections with Hinduism and other stuff that I study. At this point, I studied Greek mythology. I've studied a little bit of ancient cultures because of school, and I found it really fascinating as a kid. So I was like, I'm study a little bit more, watch some YouTube videos, whatever it was. And I'm seeing so many connections. I'm like, yo, this has got to be something. Like, this has got to be something. And I started becoming a little bit of a skeptic to spirituality. I wouldn't say I became a spiritualist right there. It was more in the sense of, I believe that there's something beyond. I believe that there's a power in the universe. I think the universe is real, but is there someone or something behind the curtains of the universe controlling all that? Like, I didn't want to say like this, what is the truth of life? Like, everything. I was like so confused as a young child. Like, it was like at this time I was like 19, 20. And I was like, bro, I'm thinking about crazy things. And mind you, I'm tripping out like on some regular timing, but I also had that crazy experience off LSD. And one day my friend comes up to me, he's like, Mavin, I'm ready to try shrooms. I was like, finally, bro, like I've been waiting for the day you tell me you want to take them. He's like, yeah, I think I need to take them with you, whatever it is. I was like, okay, no problem. First time around comes around, and me, my friend, and another one of our core friends, Zippy, try to get shrooms. And the mushrooms we got were super, super dry, super black stale. And I remember being the guy being like, well, Frankie's gonna try a little bit. Me and Zip are gonna finish the half of the rest of the bag, and we're gonna see where he takes us. And we're like, okay, bet. So we all divvy up, boom, boom, boom. And we're sitting there for like 30, 40 minutes, and Frankie's starting to fall asleep. And we're like, this is not good. Let's go out to the car, smoke. Hopefully Frankie doesn't fall asleep, because every time Frankie's smoke, bro, he's knocked. So anyways, we go out to the car, and I start feeling things coming out from the side of like the, you know when you're sitting in the car and you think you see something on the peripheral like of the car. And I swear to God, I saw like shadows. I see this like shadow figure there. I'm like, all right, that's weird. And then above every single house of my neighborhood, I see these spirit entities of like these households. Like, for example, right next to me is an Indian family, and remember the mouse I was telling you about before? That mouse was there. And then right next to me is I don't know what religion or culture they are, but they're a Asian family, and a hamster came out. So maybe Chinese, I think. I don't know. Sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. And also tell me if you think this also is crazy, bro. Because I get you guys think this is crazy. I know I'm not crazy, but like I've been at this point where I'm like, whoa, I'm crazy. You know what I mean? So please let me know how you feel in the comments. Anyways, and then the other side is a Filipino family, and I saw like some type of like bird or some shit. And in my house was like this, it literally looked like Anubis, but like wrapped in like, it looked like a more of a wolf like Anubis. Like it definitely had more fur, and the wrapping was definitely like mummy wrapping, which was weird to say the least. But I testimonied it to being Afghan. My dad's Afghan, so like the turban and stuff people wear for like the sand and stuff. So maybe that's where my spirits guides were coming from at that point. Anyways, realistically, I was going through this experience, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And all my friends around me were like, I don't feel anything. My other friend's falling asleep. It's like, whatever. We're gone. We go back into the crib, call it a night. Frankie comes back to me. He's like, bro, that shit was weak as fuck. What the fuck was that? I fell asleep. I didn't feel nothing. I was like, all right, bro, I'll get you the real shit. I won't trust Zippy to get us stuff. I got you. Just wait a little bit. Can you be patient with me? He's like, yeah, I'll be patient. Mind you, he's pushing me. He just tells me he's going to be patient, but he's pushing me. He's like, yo, Mavin, did you get them? Mavin, did you get a chance to find them? I'm trying to look. At this point, I text my cousin, bro. I'm like, yo, could you help me find this? And he's like, yeah, I got you. Da-da-da-da. On respectful shit. It's like, thank you, bro. So I drive out, get these shrooms, blue meanies. And bro, when I tell you these are probably the strongest shrooms I've had to this day. There's one more called Luke Skywalker that I will say is pretty darn close to feeling that craziness in that way. But that blue meanies definitely got the cake. Anyways, I get them. We come back to my crib after literally working a 12-hour shift. We worked from 9 to 9, and we got back to the crib at 9:30. And we're like, do we really want to do this? We have work in the morning again. You're literally sleeping over so we could take these, but we also can just go so we can just go to work tomorrow in the morning together. And we're like, yeah. And he says, all right, I'm gonna try again to like 1.8, 2.5 is where my range will be. And I told him, well, honestly, I think I'm going to see where I could last. And this is my first heroic dose. I took 4.8, I think, or 4.23 was this my first heroic dose? Yeah, 4.23. And he said, I'm gonna wait and see how you feel. Me being a stupid ass friend, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Fuck you. Like, genuinely thinking back, like, fuck you, Frankie. Like, you should have just stuck him with me. We should have died together. We should just sit there and die together. But whatever. I took him. I was a little test subject to see how it goes. We go out to go smoke. I remember literally taking a rip on my bong. If you know me, I love bong. I'm sorry, I don't smoke papes like that. I don't smoke joints like that. I love my bong. My bong is my cherry on the top. So I'm taking the bowl, and as I'm taking the bowl, I can literally feel the trees going into the window, bro. Like literally into the window and try and get me. And I start phasing in and out, in and out, in and out. And I'm talking like phasing, bro. Quick. And my boy's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Let's go home." So we're good. He smokes. I'm tripping out. I'm like losing consciousness. I remember walking into my crib and literally closing my door behind me, forgetting that he was even alive. Going downstairs, literally the same exact way. My parents are literally in the living room right as we enter. I'm like, I'm gone. Bye. Open the door, go downstairs, lay down, like straight up on my couch, blanket rolled up. My friend was telling my parents like, yeah, he's feeling sick. He's just gonna go lay down and call it a night. And I was like, he's just like, all right, bet. He goes downstairs, whatever it may be, and we were constantly just sitting there and thinking about, well, me personally, I'm sitting there thinking about what the fuck is happening, and he's sitting there thinking about, should I take these things? And he's like telling me, should I take them? Should I take them? I'm like, bro, listen, I'm gone. Like, I know this one is going to send me. I don't know where I'm gonna go. I've never felt this way before already, but if you want to take them, I know this experience means a lot to you. Please be my guest. I will always hold you there, wherever it may be. I'll try. Bro, I started losing it. He starts going. Mind you, at this point, I'm literally in a ball in my blanket, just literally trying to breathe, feeling the things around me. Like, I guess anxiety to the max, right? And my friend's finally like, Mavin, I get it. We all have superpowers. And this is when everything starts going crazy. He's jumps on my skateboard, rides across the floor. I have wood floors, and there's a couch blocking him. So as he moves across the couch, the whole room turns into a jungle. It was crazy. Then I have like a couple coins. He throws the coins for him suspended in midair. I don't even remember that happening, but that's like the point of him saying the power shit. Realistically, he starts screaming, and I'm thinking in my head, damn, bro, this kid's got to be quiet. My parents are upstairs, and I'm tripping out. And this is when I realized we have telepathy gifts. Like, I'm starting telepathy. Like, I'm talking, bro, when I tell you, I'm talking like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not even talking to this kid, but he's talking back to me. Like, I swear on my mother, on my grandmother, I was, to the slightest degree, wording my mouse. I shit you not, no sound was coming out of my mouth. This kid was hearing everything I was saying. He's like, what the fuck? And I told him, I was like, you told me that we have superpowers, right? This is the superpower. And he's like, that's crazy. So he comes and he sits next to me. And now we're finally kind of like attuning to each other. We're like, wow, this is crazy. We're both tripping right now. And then we both shoot into the posters in the room. And Gentle Giant, the poster that we both shoot into first is a big ass elephant, trippy as fuck, colored boom. I don't know if you've ever been in my room. That shit is bro, that shit is trippy enough just looking at it when you're high, but tripping, that's crazy. And then we went into it. We were feeling being the colors, and we both recognized this concept. And I guess this is when we both kind of derailed and detached, because I just remember him sitting on one couch, and I sat on my couch, and I was just constantly like, bro, what is going on? And I had sat back into my ball, and he had actually came and laid next to me, and we were just sitting there like, what the fuck? And this is when the trip went south for me, where I started having conceptual visualizations of people in my family that were no longer my family, alive but no longer my family, people who were dead and no longer my family, people in my family who were alive and around me in my environment constantly. And when I tell you, I was learning their stories. It was like I was watching their lives happen in my basement. It was like a projector had put out holographs of what they are, and I was watching them through my mind. Like, my eyes were closed, and I could literally see them now, like how my basement was and how it was. And I could I was literally watching some crazy shit happen in my family. Like, every family has their traumas or whatever it is, and I was watching my family traumas. I was watching my ancestors show me what my family had to deal with, what has been causing me to feel and act the way I felt. Like, that's the straight up truth of it. Like, I literally was seeing the ghost. At this point, time isn't fathomable. I don't even know where I was at time-wise. Craziest thing is, I have a voice memo of this whole trip, like 4.5 hours into it at least, until this part comes into where we start to doze out, because I think my phone died or something. But if you guys want me to drop that, let me know, because I will maybe drop it on my Patreon if you guys ask enough for it, like genuinely. That's a very, very sacred conversation to even throw out there on the internet. But I will do it for this purpose of understanding how this trip went. Anyways, I start seeing ghosts. I start seeing crazy shit. I'm becoming people in my life that I would never want to become. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm feeling things from their perspective. I'm feeling things from the people around this perspective. And it's just like, you know, when in shrooms you get to like get those feelings of, oh, the world is around me and I get to feel what you're feeling. Oh my God, we feel the collective. Bro, I was feeling my parents' subconscious though. Like it was like an ancestral thing. And it was nothing to do with the people around me. At this point, I'll shit you not, bro. Frankie had turned into my mom at one point. Frankie had turned into my girlfriend at one point. Like it was getting to that point where I was losing reality. I had lost reality at this point. And I remember blacking out and waking up upstairs in the main hall where my main door is, that one door where I walked in. I was like, where my parents were sitting. And I'm screaming at my mom. Like I wake up screaming at my mom. Like literally like, you don't know this. And she told me, this is where we're gonna go a lot of reflecting of he said, she said, he said, she said, because this is what's happening in my brain versus what they're telling me what's happening at that night, whatever it is. I'm screaming at my mom. Supposedly she's telling me I'm talking to her like she's my girlfriend. In my head, I'm talking to her like, bro, just follow me here. Like I'm my dad and she's her. So I'm talking to her as my dad. And like I'm corresponding so much shit or whatever it is. And I think it's the first time I even told her this part of it. But I think she understood a little bit of this part when we were going. She finally gets me to go down the stairs because my sister's upstairs. She's like, what the fuck is Mavin on? And my mom at this point has kind of had enough of me. She's like, Mavin's already a bad role model. She's not doing too much. He's not doing too much with his life. And he's a bad role model for Gia. So this is like cherry on top. Like, what the fuck? So she's like helping me down the stairs. Like I barely go. I'm literally sitting I get 2 steps down. I sit on the steps. I start crying, holding my brain like I'm sorry, mom. Like I'm dying. Like literally, I'm dying. And you'll know why I'll say that in a second. Dying straight to the place where I'm starting to sweat, I'm starting to cry, whatever it is. I finally make my way downstairs. I black out again, and I wake up on my mattress on the floor. Mind you, this mattress had been literally all the way upstairs underneath my sister's bed. There was a table where the mattress was. The couches were pretty darn close. So like there was a lot happening by the time I woke up. What my parents said happened in between was I was screaming, doing different things with my, with those reflections and saying different things in different ways. And at one point I had literally blacked out. Like I was just kind of sitting on the couch, blacked out. And my mom was like scared and confused, and she was trying to interrogate my friend at this point, like what happened, what was this, and he was trying to answer as best he could. And in his mind, he's like, okay, well he's sleeping, he's probably just gonna wake up in the morning, it'll be good. They finally get me onto this mattress, and I wake up, but don't wake up. Like, you remember that experience where I told you about phasing in and out of the astral realm? This happened. And do you remember that blue space I told you about then the LSD trip? This happened, but I went to the blue space in the other world. Like I contest, it was that Savannah vibe. It was like, in Black Panther when what is it called? T'Challa goes into the spirit realm, and it's like literally that spirit realm, bro. It's like that, but I shit you not, a little bit more jungle-esque, and it's blue. That's it. It's all it is. And there I see a dancing blue being, and which I now contest as Shiva, but I do believe somewhere in my brain that it was Shiva and Krishna both there at that moment, and I want to explain that further going down here. First, I saw Shiva in this realm, and we were talking, and he's just like telling me about all the sin that I've been contesting in my life for no reason. Just allowing to eat at my core, allowing me not to see the truth of who I am. And I really found resonance with that because I was like, yeah, bro, I've been really just doing whatever the fuck I've been doing just to like survive, see where it takes me, maybe help my parents out, you know what I mean? Like I had no idea what the fuck. I liked music and I was trying for music, but like there was no purpose behind it for real. So this was the first time I was like, yeah, this person was like, yeah, this guy's telling me the truth. And in the real world, what's happening is I'm on the floor on a mattress and my mom is literally trying to calm me down because I'm speaking ancient Sanskrit. I'm talking about Hindi that my dad and my mom haven't heard since they were little kids from their grandparents. Things that I shouldn't know how to say. Things that I didn't even know how to speak those languages at the time. Like even Hindi and Kabli at the time. I didn't know how to speak it fluently or as much as whatever. Like it was just to the point where this is a crazy ass experience. He's talking to when I came back, I was talking to an ancient Indian deity, and my parents are telling me I'm talking ancient Hindi. Like, it's kind of corresponding to a fucking another degree, bro. It's literally corresponding to another fucking degree. And so I'm screaming, like, I'm talking in ancient whatever, and Shiva's talking to me, and he's like, listen, I need you to go back, and I need you to tell your mom that everything's okay, and I'll be back soon. So I did. I go back, I phase back, and I'm, like, looking around, and it's the first time I wake up on the bed. And I'm like, oh, Mom, I love you. And it's literally my mom right there. I'm like, Mom, I love you. And so I'm about to cry because I'm thinking about the situation. And I grab her and I hug her and I'm like, it's gonna be okay. I promise you it's gonna be okay. She's like, what's happening? And I said, I don't know, but I promise you. That's literally what I think I said at that time. And I went out at that point. And on her side, what she said I was doing is screaming like I was being stabbed 1,000,000 times over. Like over and over, getting stabbed and stabbed and stabbed. What was happening on my side was a lot more pleasant. Shiva, who was telling me, it is time for you to dance the great dance, to be joyful and not be bound by spirits that no longer serve you. And I was like, sounds fucking great to me. So this man starts dancing, doing whatever the fuck he wants. And I'm looking at him and he literally kills me. He killed me. Like he killed me. I remember seeing my body my soul leave my body 7 times. 7 times as he's killed me. And every single time I'm watching my mom, my friends, my dad look at me scream like I'm dying. And it's so weird. It's like I had the 7 deadly sins. And I'm sitting there dying 7 times, up, back down, 7 times. And as I would live up the 7th time, the man who was dancing and the snake around his neck, I know it's Shiva. I'm sorry, I know it's Shiva. He became Krishna. And it's something that I haven't spoke on until this day. I haven't even told my dad because I only need you get to that story. I didn't tell my dad. It turns to Krishna, and Krishna is who the Hindus believe was Christ in an avatar. Like it's not that. Like we don't believe Christ is Krishna or me or we. Hindus don't believe that. They don't believe that at all. I believe that Christ is Krishna, and somehow universe and is God and whatever the replication is. And honestly, in the end of the day, I got to the point where I was sitting there and I was like, yo, what happened? Where am I now? And he just said, you are going to be this light bringer. And I thought back about that green entity, the toad that I saw before. He's like, you shall know soon. And I'm like, this has got to be it. This guy's telling me exactly who I got to be now. And he's like, yeah, this is it. And then he sends me back. And I shit you not, I'm sitting there and I'm telling my mom, my friend, I'm like, oh, I'm back. I'm great. I need to go to the bathroom. And I'm about to, poop in front of my friend's door open. I don't care. And I'm telling them shit. She's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. Because in my mind right now, I'm starting to wake up consciously. Like I'm coming back to actual life consciously. But I have these remembrances where these entities would take my soul out of it to tell me stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back because there's times where I've had gone back, but I can't tell my mom that. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know if I said, I don't know if I'm gonna pass back out. She's like, okay, well, go lay down. I'm like, no, I don't know. And she's like, what do you mean? So go lay down. And I remember this being the biggest thing in my brain for the next like 6 hours. My best friend finally got like 2-3 hours of sleep before we drove our way into work crazily. But I was sitting there and I was just like, wow, I don't know what I am, but you told me I'm this. So what do I go from now? And just to end this episode, I just want to leave it off on this quick point in the story. The way I got away with it from my parents' point of view is that I told them exactly and everything I saw that night. They confirmed so much of what I saw to what they've experienced, to what they believe, that they had. My dad literally looked at me like, so should I take them? And I was like, I don't know. At this point, I had no idea what mushrooms are, psilocybin is. Like, it's my beginning of my spiritual journey. And that's where I want to leave episode 3. Please let me know in the comments if you think this is fucking crazy, because I think it's kind of crazy, but not the kind of crazy you think it is. Please tell me if you have your own experiences. And I want to leave you guys with a quote. If you saw the world in a different way today, and I'm not talking about in a different perspective, because everyone says, change your perspective, things will be better. No, I'm talking about in a different way. In the eyes of the beholder, and as the Bible says. No, but find yourself, be putting yourself in the shoes of a monkey in Africa, or a cat in Rome, or a fish underneath the sea of the Atlantic Ocean. I want you to think about every little being in this planet that you possibly could see yourself living a life on this earth, for the reason of, how can you see the earth differently? How can you see the people around you differently? Because these experiences that I've had have changed my perspective in a way that doesn't really fit the guidelines of changing perspective. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Gentle Giant Podcast. This is episode 3, Caesars Beyond God, or some shit like that. This is Mavin Kakkar. Find me everywhere at Mavin Kakkar. Thank you guys. Bet.